Hey everyone, it's Friday, October 9th, 2020. Welcome to episode 32 of the Ginger and the Beard podcast. I'm AJ, aka The Ginger.
And I'm Reese, aka The Beard.
On this week's show, we'll be drinking and reviewing craft beers from Farmhouse Brewing Company and Abita Brewing, talking about the official matchup of Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, and covering leaks of Apple's hardware event happening next week.
We'll also be talking about Jon Jones's fiasco with USADA, augmented reality for military K9 units, and all of the demos on Steam right now. All right, and we're back, folks. Quick reminder, please like and subscribe on YouTube, and also subscribe on your favorite podcast player. If you really want to help us grow, share this episode with a friend. As always, guys, we appreciate your support, and we're glad you're here.
Yes, absolutely, and make sure to check out the YouTube chapters or the timestamps in the description of the podcast if you'd like to skip around to your favorite topics. All right, man, as always, we've got a ton of stuff to cover, so let's get into this. How was your week?
Oh, man, week was good. Busy week at work, but I'm happy it's over. Just sold some couches, ready to play some video games, talk about beer, UFC. Well, I'm really excited to drink a beer, man. How about you?
Same here, man. It's been one of those weeks, one of those days, so I'm excited to drink a beer. Absolutely. Talk about a ton of technology news. I'm excited for this podcast. I'm excited to be sitting here. I'm excited all you guys out there are listening, so I say we just dive right in, man.
All right, man. We're going to dive right in. Be right back, guys, and then we're going to hear about the Ginger's beer. Hey.
We are back. Welcome to the What You Drinkin' segment of the show. Guys, I've got something special for you. If you haven't seen it on Instagram yet, I definitely recommend you check out our Instagram page. We alluded to this in the last episode we recorded, but we have got our second ever early release access to a beer from Farmhouse Brewing Company. Thank you again to Lauren for hooking us up with that. It was awesome to meet you in person, and looking forward to working with you guys. Hopefully get you guys on the show one day. But what I've got for you guys today is the Monarch IPA from Farmhouse Brewing. This actually released today. We got this about a week early. I put up a full written review on the website, so make sure you check that out. But I felt like I definitely needed to drink this on the show and show it to you guys in the flesh. So with that said, let's go ahead and crack this open. But this is a New England style IPA. It's 7.5% ABV, brewed with 3 different type of hops. So Eldorado, Cascade, and Citra hops. Let me back up here so I don't spill on my keyboard.
Oh, yeah, don't do that. Looking good so far, man. Not a lot of head on this so far. It's looking like a really good pour.
Wait for it.
There it is. That's what you want to see. Wow.
All right.
Look at that.
Oh, here it comes. Yeah, I was like, I remember the first time there was some head on this thing. So in the official Ginger and the Beard beer glass, you can see a very nice, kind of moderate thick head there. Very nice deep golden color to it. A little bit hazy, slightly hazy, but not super, super cloudy. So yeah, I've had this beer before. Usually the beers we drink on the show is the first time experiencing it, but just to kind of reiterate what I said in the written review, the first, sort of when it touches the nostrils, is that a thing? Can you say that? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Do
think
people
so.
say that?
I don't know.
The first kind of aromas that I get from this, grapefruit, mango, and actually like a scent, kind of a touch of watermelon. I described in the review, it's like almost like a sweet smell to it. Like a lot of these IPAs, with multiple types of hops, they're like so hoppy that the first thing you smell, you just smell the hops right off the bat. It's like that bitter sort of smell to it. But this one's almost like sweet. It's very fruity, tropical, And that's thanks in part to the Cascade hops. I think the Cascade is what brings out that grapefruit. So let me go ahead and give this a sip.
Nice.
Just as good as the first time.
Nice. So you already drank a can of this?
Yeah, I had a can of this for the review.
Nice. For
the written review on the website. So I definitely recommend you guys go and check that out, thegingerandthebeard.com. But I really enjoy this IPA, guys. I think, the biggest takeaway for me is like simplicity. I wrote in the review, like a lot of these IPAs today are competing for like shelf space and for people's attention when you're walking through the aisles at Total Wine. And they've got these polarizing designs. Their label designs are crazy and colorful and in your face. Clearly, if you're not watching the video here, the can design on this very simplistic fits perfectly in line with Farmhouse's IPA series, this white label. Anytime you see a white label from Farmhouse, that means it's part of their IPA series with just a monarch butterfly on the front. Obviously, the name being Monarch. So the simplicity to me kind of is represented not only in the design, but the flavor too. So I get a lot of that fruit forward when I taste it. With the first sip, I get a ton of grapefruit, a little bit of the mango, and then the longer it kind of sits on my tongue for a second, that hoppiness starts to come out and reveal itself a little bit, but it's not overpowering. Like some of the designs are polarizing, but also the flavor profiles are very polarizing with a lot of IPAs. Like the one I had last week, a hoppy coffee beer, hazy coffee IPA. It was just like so odd in my mouth. I wasn't sure what to make of it, but this is like perfectly smooth and just well-rounded the whole way through. And the best thing about it, even after I take a second sip, you don't get the lingering bitterness that you get with some of these like overly hopped IPAs. And to me personally, for my personal preference, I actually enjoy that lingering hoppiness. It's like I'm tasting the beer constantly from sip to sip. So I enjoy that. But for somebody who's kind of like easing their way into IPAs or, not really a fan of the bitterness, like I know you're not a huge fan of the bitterness.
Right.
It's not sticking with you and like annoying you until the next sip, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense to me, somebody that doesn't really like IPAs as much. Certainly not the bitter, the more bitter ones that have that lingering intense bitterness to it. So it sounds like this is something that, I could get, hip to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, it's not overly bitter at all. That head sort of lingers around a little bit. That's one thing I noticed. But it doesn't bother me that much. Some of the beers that I've reviewed on the show before have actually been described of having like a soapy texture to the head. And this one, though it kind of lingers around, it's quite fine bubbles and it doesn't bother me so much. Like that soapy texture sometimes can really distract from the flavor of the beer. But this one definitely doesn't bother me as much. And there is kind of that lacing as you drink it down. The head kind of sticks with the glass. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, just something that I noticed. But yeah, overall, this is a really good beer. And as I pour the rest of the can out, some of that hazier texture comes through. It's not heavy. It's not, I'd describe it sort of like light to medium body, very smooth. I mean, just overall, again, simple, smooth. I mean, very well-balanced flavor profile. Definitely recommend this for somebody that's not, super experienced with IPAs or these heavily bittered beers. And overall, just super well-rounded. And again, thankful for Farmhouse for giving us access to that to show on the show here and obviously on the website as well. So thank you guys. Once again, had to represent the Farmhouse t-shirt.
Nice.
Represent. So again, thank you guys. That was very awesome and kind of you to give that to us. So definitely, guys, if you're in Hampton Roads, I know a lot of our listeners are local to Virginia Beach. I would recommend you stop by and pick yourself up a 4-pack. And hopefully maybe we'll see this out in some stores as well.
Yeah, dude, hopefully. But yeah, I definitely want to come down and get my hands on that. It's probably seasonal though, so probably by the time I get down there, it won't be there anymore, right?
We'll see. Knows? I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean they release beers so often that they kind of get replaced, but yeah, maybe I'll save one for you. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see if I can do
You're going to have like a whole cooler full of beers that you're saving for me by the time I get down there.
This is a box in my refrigerator that says, the Beard's beers, don't touch.
When I show up, it's like, don't even talk to me. Just start drinking this beer
Just
right
drink
now.
This one. You must try all of these.
Drink them all. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So what about you, man? We had a poll up this week for you. And what did the voters decide on for you?
Yeah, so I had a Abita Brewing pecan, whatever you want to call it. Pecan ale that took the cake here. It was against an Ale Works pumpkin ale. I was a bit surprised. I didn't think this one was going to win, but it did. A lot of people voted for it. I think it was like 70% to 30%. It was, the scales were tipped heavily towards the pecan ale.
Pecan.
And this is a twist top. I was just looking for a bottle opener, but oh, look at that. I haven't had one of these in a... Wait, no, it's not. This is not a twist top. Never mind.
No, it's not. My hand is bleeding. It's not a twist top.
Hold on, I have to go on a break. Yeah, now I gotta and I didn't bring a can opener, but it's all right. I got this knife here. Oh my god, I just shot that thing off into the sky. Anyway.
And now all their hand is bleeding now.
There's so much blood everywhere. Is this Halloween? No, it's just me bleeding. Anyway. All right. So, so Abita Pecan Ale. It's 20 IBU, 5.2% ABV, made with real Louisiana roasted pecans. Let me see if I'm going to go ahead and pour this. Hopefully I don't hit my keyboard. Got a nice amber color to it. No haziness. You can kind of just see right through it. We got some nice uniform head. Oh, I love seeing the uniform head on there like that. Very nice. Cool. Yeah, nice. Go nuts is what the bottle says. Pecan ale. Go nuts.
I'm glad this one won because I'm so curious about how this tastes.
I'm pretty curious as well, but we'll find out here in a second. Roasted pecans are added in the brew house. It should have a nutty flavor and aroma, so we'll find out soon. It's brewed with pale Munich biscuit and caramel malts, and also Willamette hops. So I don't really know anything about Willamette hops, but I'm expecting a lot of caramel, pecan, nutty flavors here. So let me give it a smell. Has a slightly nutty aroma. Not really picking up on too much there. Smells pretty good though. I like the color of it. That's what color, really takes me. That color. Yeah. Let's give it a sip. Slight bitterness. Yeah. So 20 IBUs makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely, very slightly nutty. I'm not really getting a whole lot of that. I was expecting a bit more pecan to hit me, because in my brain I think I was thinking of pecan pie, right? And I probably shouldn't have been, because this is more this wasn't going for a sugary flavor. I don't think this was going more for the subtle aroma, subtle taste of pecans, which I think they got. I'm trying to pick up on the roasty kind of flavor, but I'm not getting that yet either. It's definitely there though. I think I would say, for it being an ale, if I were just to think of this as just a plain ale, and take all of the pecan flavor out of it, this is an easy drinking kind of beginner level ale, in my opinion. This is something that I think somebody just getting into the craft brew game, especially during the fall season, could pick up one of these, and it's not going to they're not going to take a sip of it and be like, oh, I'm never touching an ale again. They would drink this and be like, well, that's interesting. Let me have another sip. Okay. I kind of get what's going on here. So, this is, something that I would definitely drink during, the fall time. I don't think this would necessarily be something I would drink, in the really cold winters months. I'd have to switch over to the stouts by then, but yeah. But for fall season, I could go rake some leaves and drink one of these. That's for sure. Or sit by a fire. That's probably what I think.
There we go. I mean, hell, man, you do what you want to do. It's your life. You live it.
Yeah, man. If I want to break leaves in my spare time, break leaves? That's what I do. Hands are all bloody.
You can do what you want.
Hands are bleeding from all kinds of different things. Now I got calluses from the rake, and yeah, we're going down a dark path here. Going down a dark path.
That sounds pretty good, man. I'd be interested in trying that. I kind of too was thinking pecan pie. Pecan, I don't know how I say it. Once we start discussing is it pecan or pecan, I'm I don't know how I actually normally say it. But I'm leaning more towards pecan right now, or pecan. Pecan?
I call it pecan. I think a lot of people call it pecan. but I always call it pecan. I don't know.
I think I say pecan pie. I don't know. Either way, that's what I was thinking. It was pie flavor, the sweetness. That would be a delicious idea for a beer. There's probably one out there, but that does sound pretty good, man. I'm kind of jealous of your fall beers. So I gotta pick me some of those up.
I looked up William at Hops, and it says it provides a spicy, floral, and fruity fragrance. So I think that the fact that they kind of used that, I don't know what it was. It kind of was detracting from the roasted pecan, kind of flavors, because I'm not really. I think I am getting more just like the floral aspects rather than, a roasted. Something that in my head, when I think roast, I'm thinking like almost like smoky in a way, but I'm not really getting that yet. So
nice, man. Well, that sounds delicious. So thanks again to Farmhouse for the beer and Abita Brewery. Sounds like you made a nice, tasty brew. You guys let us know in the comments. Have you had the Abita Brewery Pecan Ale, and would you like to try this Farmhouse Brewing Monarch IPA? And just let us know, what have you guys been drinking? But I think it's about time we move into our next segment, UFC Shenanigans. What do you think?
I think you're right, man. I think we had some good beers. Let's talk about some fights. Let's go. And we're back. Time to talk about some UFC shenanigans.
Yes, welcome to the UFC Shenanigans segment. We've got some drama, man. Some drama in the UFC lately. Yep. Lots of drama. Some would say maybe too much. But one thing that stood out to me this week was this news about Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. We talked about last week how, number one, they were going to do a charity event because Conor was all mad that he couldn't get a fight with the UFC. And they were going to do this charity event. We speculated on, was this a press stunt for him? And then the UFC came out, offered a contract to both of them for an actual UFC event. And at that point, we weren't sure. I think Dustin had accepted, but we weren't sure if Conor was going to accept yet. So At this point, they have now both accepted the contract with the UFC. So they will officially fight with the UFC. Date is still TBD as of this recording. But Conor wants to fight again in 2020. So there's a couple of dates. I think the date offered for them was like January of 2021. So there's a couple of dates right now, that could potentially work out in 2020 because we've lost a couple of main events. If you recall, in November, late November, the 21st, Cody Garbrandt was supposed to fight Davison Figueiredo to get a shot at the title. I think that's flyweight, I believe. I could be wrong about that. But he had a bicep injury. I think I'm recalling correctly. A bicep injury kind of took him out of that fight. And then on December 12th, we lost the Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns fight because this was kind of interesting. I'm curious on your thoughts on this one, but Kamaru Usman basically said he just needs more time. He's got an injury that he's recovering from and needs more time. But I don't know. That's kind of, I've never heard that one before. That's kind of weird.
Dude, we're 2 months out. We're 60 days out. I mean, how much time do you need?
What kind of injury are we talking about?
Who knows? Maybe his doctor's telling him that he needs to recover for 90 days, and he's just saying, okay, well, I'm going to listen to the doctor and, do it that way.
I do kind of like that decision rather than like trying to find a fight for Gilbert Burns because I mean, at this point, he's been promised a title shot. You shouldn't take that away from him over an injury on the other guy, but interesting enough. But so that's another possible date. But other fights that could take place on either of those dates are Francis Ngannou versus Stipe or Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. So those slots might be taken before this Conor and Dustin Poirier fight. But the last thing I kind of wanted to bring up, which I appreciate, was if you guys recall when they were going to do this charity event, Conor McGregor offered to donate $500,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
To Dustin Poirier's, I can't remember what the name of the charity is. I think it's the Good Fight Foundation.
I think you're right.
He was going to donate a bunch of money to Dustin's charity, but he's now come out and said that he still will, since he said that before, will still be making that donation of $500,000 to Dustin's charity. So I thought that was super cool of Conor.
Yeah, it is definitely the Good Fight Foundation. I just looked it up to make sure. I think, like I said last time when we talked about this, I think it's just him trying to like get back in the good graces with everybody because of everything that happened with the, public indecency, but that's neither here nor there, or maybe it is. But man, you mentioned Francis Ngannou versus Stipe or Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington, and dude, either those fights or the Conor versus Dustin fight. Honestly, man, you give me any of those 3 fights, dude, and I am there, man. I am so excited for all 3 of those fights. We got 2 rematches, and then we got this cocky motherfucker versus the baddest motherfucker. It's just like, who could it be? There's so much in the air right there. I mean, we could go on forever about those 3 fights, but yeah, absolutely. I guess just specific to, Dustin and Conor, who do you think, who do you think's going to win?
I don't know, man. That's a really tough one to call. I mean, Conor, obviously we didn't get to see much of his performance, with the Cowboy fight since it ended so quickly, but he looks like he's in great shape. He's obviously still training. I don't know. Who was the last fight with Dustin Poirier? I honestly can't even remember at this point.
It was Dan
Hooker?
No. I thought, maybe it was Dan Hooker. I was thinking in my head that it was Darren Till, but he's too big for him. I think you're right. I think it was Hooker. He beat Hooker.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now just to confirm. Yeah, he beat Dan Hooker in a decision.
Yep.
5-round decision.
It was a good fight, though. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Hooker's a champion, man. He's definitely title worthy, 100%. But yeah, I don't know. That'd be a good one. I mean, my money would probably just be on Conor, to be honest with you. But just because of his fight style versus Dustin, who's an excellent boxer. He's got the hands, as we always say. But I think Conor's style is just not a great match for Dustin. And he's beat him back in like 2014. That doesn't really mean much at this point. But, regardless, I'd love to see it. I'm glad that Conor's still putting that money up. It was interesting, though. I did see earlier today, before we move away from the subject, that Tony Ferguson's got some beef about this whole situation.
Yeah. And
he's all pissed off that Dustin took this fight and calling him a sellout or whatever it is.
Did you see that he was making fun of Conor because, like, he shaved his head and then, like, the next day or whatever, Conor shaved his head. And he was like, what are you doing? You just following in my footsteps? I shave my head, you shave your head? Like, he was like talking all kinds of smack.
It seems to me that Tony might just be a little bit bitter and he's trying to make sure he stays relevant.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. I mean,
yeah. I think he's mad. And I also saw that he had some beef with Justin Gaethje. Said something about, obviously Justin's fight's coming up with Khabib, and he was like, "You're welcome, Justin, for the fight with Khabib." Like, what do you mean you're welcome? Are you trying to say like you obviously did not hand Justin that victory? Justin kicked the crap out of you and smashed your face in.
Yeah.
I think he earned that. I don't think he needs any thanks from you. So
yeah,
I think Tony's just trying to get his name out there and make sure nobody forgets about him.
And Tony also was saying, like, he hopes Khabib wins. He wants Khabib to win that fight
so that he can get the fight.
Yeah, so that he can still get the fight. Because, like, if Gaethje wins, then I mean, Tony's probably not going to get the fight. It'll be a rematch, right?
Yeah.
Has to be.
So interesting.
Or Conor will come in, and then it'll be the Conor fight.
Exactly.
Because he gets whatever he wants.
Yeah. Speaking of people who get whatever they want.
Yeah, Jon Jones, right? Or Izzy. Yeah, both of them. So I got a little bit of news about Jon Jones. Just kind of, if you guys have been following social media, you've seen this back and forth between these two. And I got to say, man, Israel Adesanya is a savage, dude. This guy has to get out of the house, man. He can't be next to a computer because he's waging war. He's waging social media war on Jon Jones. And it's like, they're putting a lot of energy on this. And, some of the stuff is getting pretty personal. This isn't the main news topic that I'm sharing here, but like Izzy put a shot out on not a shot out, but he kind of was attacking Jon Jones and mentioned Jon Jones's mother, and she passed away some time ago, so it's getting pretty personal, but everything on Izzy right now is around his pectoral muscle and how it's like kind of drooping, and it looks like it could be banned substance related potentially. So Jon Jones came out, and I'm just gonna go ahead and read this tweet and then talk about it a little bit more. So he says, "Brother, explain your titty. I was hiding from Nevada State." Yeah, right. I was hiding from Nevada State Athletic Commission, not USADA, and that was years ago. I had just smoked a blunt and was afraid I would fail my test for weed. That's the actual truth. Now everybody knows. Everyone. So he came out and he spilled the beans. Some people already knew about this, which is odd enough. But let me just get your initial reaction to that, man. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I saw this. I had to do some digging to figure out like what the frame of context was here, and apparently, I don't know. Izzy's talking all this smack about. Well, number one is people think with the sagging pectoral muscle has something to do with steroids. So I guess Jon Jones is playing on that. So that was Izzy's response was talking about. I think Izzy's tweet was something around like I slept under the ring. I napped under the ring to save gas money from like traveling back to like my home and then coming back for evening practice or whatever. This guy slept under the ring to hide from USADA so that he wouldn't fail a drug test, and that's where Jon Jones's tweet comes in. To be honest with you guys, I don't know that I was following the sport around the time that this happened. I don't know when this actually happened. But I know that this was like a rumor about people speculating that Jon Jones did this to kind of dodge the USADA. But honestly, didn't know anything about this. So this is very interesting.
Yeah, I think this was a long time ago, like long, like not within the last 3 years kind of, so quite a while ago. But I guess, Chael Sonnen knew about this and Colby Covington knew about it because Chael Sonnen told a story of Jones hiding under the cage on a few occasions. He talked to it about on Joe Rogan's show and also backed up Colby Covington, who spoke about it on Sonnen's podcast. So it's like some people actually knew about this. And it's like, I wonder, did they just know about it because of his teammates? His teammates probably just like knew about it and they were probably like telling some people, and that's how these guys kind of got hip to it. So I just think it's crazy that he admitted to it like live in Twitter. And it's like, I'm going to reel back a little bit and just say like, this is why you shouldn't be engaging in these like social media tussles, because like there's been personal attacks now. And now you're revealing information that you probably don't want people to know about you because it's not painting you in a good light. Like,
right.
You probably, if you would have got tested like everybody else is getting tested and you would have got caught for weed. Yes, I have certain feelings about weed where I don't really agree with all of the rules around it, but that doesn't really matter. The rules are the rules. So if he got tested with it, then yeah, I mean, technically he should have been punished and probably wouldn't have, had a belt at that moment in time, probably would have gone through a lot of stuff, maybe even suspended and not made as much money back then. So, shame on you, Jon Jones, but also shame on you for telling the media. You should have taken that one to the grave, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to find, there's another tweet in response to that. I can't find it right now. I don't know why, but
probably deleted it.
No, well, I'm not looking on Twitter. I'm just trying. I saw this and it reported that somebody, I think it was a coach, a UFC coach of some sort, replied to that and said, yeah, in response to John's tweet, said, yeah, except for they don't test for THC outside of 1 week before the fight. So kind of implying that he actually was not hiding because of weed. He might have been hiding because of something else.
Ooh, even better.
I don't know why I can't find this right now. I guess my Googling skills aren't that great, but I feel like it was like Coach Kavanaugh or something like that. Anyways, it was like a UFC coach. So yeah, I mean, very interesting. I mean, I guess at this point he doesn't think he has anything to hide. But I mean, like, what kind of
I guess.
Yeah, what kind of repercussions are really going to come from that at this point? But yeah, you're right. If he would have gotten caught at the time, things might be a little bit different now.
Yeah, I mean, it's all hearsay. It wouldn't really stand up unless he like actually submitted it like officially, but. I don't think he's going to get in trouble for that. It's just social media back and forth. He could say, oh, somebody got a hold of my phone and wrote that. That wasn't me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's, it's stupid stuff like that. But Yeah, man. Got some weird stuff going on. We got some interesting stuff. We got some weird stuff. Jon Jones and Izzy, guys, if you're looking for some interesting entertainment, these two are trolling each other every day. Just go follow them and have a laugh or have a cry. I'm doing a little bit of both when I see these. So
I just hope that someday they can actually take it to the octagon and we see what happens.
now would be the best time. They should just book this fight for tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Right now.
Just show
right
up.
here.
You know,
Let's do this.
Let's just handle this. No testing, no weigh-ins. Have at it.
Let's just get it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I think that wraps it up for the UFC Shenanigans. You guys let us know what you think about all that. But we've got some tech news to talk about.
All right. Be right back. And we're back again. We're going to talk about some tech. I know we got some Apple news and we got some VR doggy news.
Oh, VR doggies. I want some doggies in VR. I need a dog wherever I go, really. I have 2 dogs. You have 2 dogs.
Yep.
Dogs are great.
I love dogs.
But let's kick it off with the Apple news. So yeah, Apple event details have leaked. I usually don't like to look at leaks just because I kind of like being surprised and like excited in real time about stuff rather than like knowing everything before I go into an event, and then the element of surprise is just completely gone and it's not as exciting. But I looked at the leaks.
Whoops.
The leaks came out today. I mean, the thing though with any of these tech leaks is that most of the time they're accurate if they're reported by specific sources. Sometimes they're still wrong. Sometimes they get things a little mixed up, but this one seems to be pretty accurate, and Apple is kind of predictable at this point. But they've got some new stuff that seems kind of interesting. But we're going to start first with the iPhones because that's what everybody cares about. So obviously about a month ago, they released these brand new shiny Apple Watches, which I'm still rocking. Still haven't broke it yet. That's cool.
Ooh. Oh, fingers crossed.
Yeah, knock on wood. I don't have any real wood around here. This is fake wood that I'm like, my desk is fake wood.
Compressed wood chips.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically really hard cardboard.
Yep.
So anyways, yeah, they've got another event happening Tuesday, October 13th. The event is titled, there's always a name of the event or a theme. It's high, speed. So they're clever copywriting. So speed being like an object or a thing versus an adjective or a verb or whatever you call it. So saying hi to speed. So
hi, speed.
Yeah, very, very nice play on words there. So a lot of speculation happens. Anytime Apple sends out an official invite to these events, people like dissect it and say like, oh, well, these little graphic elements mean this, and this word and this comma placed here means this. And like, I don't know, it's kind of weird how people do that. But this one, based on the leaks, I can kind of see the correlation there. So let's start with the iPhones. There's going to be 4 new iPhones, 3 different sizes. I'm not going to go into all the different variations, but you guys can check into that. The big thing to note here is that there's going to be another larger iPhone. So right now, the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is the one I've got right here, is a 6.5-inch screen. The new iPhone 12, whatever they call it, maybe they call it Pro Max again, will be 6.7 inches, according to these leaks. So an additional 0.2 inches. Whatever that means to you. But we're assuming also that the bezels might get even smaller. So that's going to be a pretty large piece of glass in your hands. I mean, we're approaching tablet size at this point. Don't forget, the Google Nexus 7 was one of the early tablets of the day, and it was 7 inches. So we're very close to official tablet size.
Jeez.
Speaking of the glass, there's rumored to be new ceramic shield glass. I would be willing to bet it's still a Gorilla Glass product from Corning, but it's potentially more scratch resistant. One thing that we are now expecting not to get that we were expecting to get earlier this year was the 120 hertz refresh rate on the display, which is something that I was definitely looking forward to, given that iPhones kind of lag behind some of the other flagship devices. I believe Samsung's new devices do have the 120 hertz refresh rates, But the report here is that the battery drain may be too substantial. I don't know what this means. You guys can look into it if you feel the need to. It's something called LTPO display technology is required to kind of combat that battery drain, and Apple's not going to have that ready in time for this year's release, which is kind of a bummer. That was a big upgrade for sure. I think right now they sit at like 90 hertz refresh rate, or maybe even 60. I can't remember.
Jeez.
The next kind of big thing people are expecting is the redesigned chassis. If anyone here is familiar with the old iPhone 4s or 5s, you remember those squared off edges, and you see those squared off edges again with the new iPad Pros. They're reported to the iPhones are going to have that new squared off edge, which I'm really excited about. But this part right here, I'm very excited about. I'm interested in your thoughts too. It's rumored to be able to shoot 4K at 120 or 240 FPS. 4K at 240 FPS. That's quite impressive considering that most cameras, I'm not even going to say phone cameras, just most cameras in general, if you get up to 4K, you usually can only do 4K at like 30 FPS. So this would be some amazing slow motion footage.
I don't see how. Like, the sensor on like the back of the camera can only be so big, and 240 frames per second, dude, like your phone's gonna explode. It's gonna get so hot. If you do that for 10 seconds, your phone's gonna be so hot. Because think about it, dude. 10 seconds, you're like, that's literally like 3,000 or something like that. It's like close to 3,000 snapshots, frames in 10 seconds. It's like 2,500. Sorry, 24. Technically 2,400. So sorry, I had to do math. Sorry,
I'm terrible at math, so I'm just whatever you say. You could tell me it's 86 million. I'd be like, yeah, probably.
10 seconds. You add a zero at the end. You're good. Anyway.
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, all of that in 10 seconds, dude. Like there's like how are they accounting for anyway, man? How?
I don't know how. There we go with the high speed. We're talking about speed here, guys. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's possible. I know there's cameras out there that are capable of it, but with a sensor that small, pretty impressive. This is why it's kind of hard to believe almost. I think the iPhone I have now shoots 4K, but if I bump it up to 240 frames per second, which it will do in the slow motion mode, I'm sure it's dropping the quality to at least 1080, if not 720 or lower. So yeah. I don't know that for a fact, but just based on the slow motion videos I've shot, I know the quality dips pretty significantly.
And then for your phone to like render that and like show it on the screen, like,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah, well, this goes back to last week when we were talking about, or it might have been the week before last, when we were talking about the new iPad Air, which is is capable, according to Apple, to edit 4K video from an iPad. And it's all thanks to the new, Bionic A14 Bionic chip that they put in all of these devices. They just keep improving the silicon that they put in these devices, faster and faster every single time. Again, back to the speed thing. And the last thing that comes into play with the speed piece is the 5G capability. So you will have 5G capability with this phone. So any provider that offers 5G, you'll be able to get those extra speeds. But here's the kicker. It comes in for that top of the line phone at $1,100. I'm interested in your thoughts on, like, we are at a place now where you can buy a top of the line computer for less than the phone. So what are your thoughts on the price of phones today?
Well, first off, if it does 4K at 240 frames per second, then aliens are real. Okay? Sasquatch is real. Loch Ness Monster is real. All of those things, okay?
I think all those are true.
And I mean, if it is that much, then yeah, I think $1,100 is quite a reasonable price to get that kind of quality out of a phone. Because think about it, if you get a camera that can do that, it's going to be more than $1,100.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you get like a low end one, maybe you can find like a low end one, but I don't think so. And I mean, to have a computer that can edit and process that, I mean, yeah, To say top of the line, I'm not sure about that one, because like top of the line computers, I mean, you could probably spend 10 grand and you could probably still do some upgrades. But like,
True.
you could get a computer for $500 that does everything that you need it to.
Yeah.
$600, and it's like the fact that this phone is $1,100, but it sounds like it's got 5G, 4K at 240 frames per second. It's got a great processor. The refresh rate on the screen is insane. Like, all of this stuff is like, this is crazy, man. I can't believe we're like living during this type of time right now. So I think $1,100, if you're asking for my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with it. Seems good.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy that people, I mean, we're at a place now where, when we broke 1,000, I think, when Samsung phones broke 1,000 and iPhones broke 1,000, people were just like flabbergasted. That's a great word. They're just like, I can't believe we're paying $1,000 for these. But you're right, man. I'm like, you're packing so much computing power into such a tiny device. Not only is it the camera that can shoot 4K, but it's also the computer that can edit the 4K. You can edit the footage right there on your phone. You can do literally everything on your phone. You're carrying that computer around all day, and people don't even think twice about it. To be honest with you guys, I'm not going to think twice about it. I'm going to buy the top-of-the-line phone because, I mean, how much more justification do you need other than you use this thing literally all day, every day for work,
everything,
for personal use? It's your social life. It's your, your Googling device. It's everything to you. So people
Order
don't
your
even
food,
shudder at the thought of spending that.
buy your shoes.
Yeah, it's crazy though. But
I think, yeah.
I mean, you guys let us know. Would you pay $1,100 for the top of the line device? Are any of those features interesting to you? But let's talk about what else they're gonna speculated to announce next week. Number one, I don't really care to talk about it, honestly. It's a smaller HomePod. Who cares? The HomePod's cool, whatever. If you're interested in taking a HomePod you have more HomePods in your house, cool. What I thought was interesting, though, was the possibility of a magnetic wireless charger. So they were supposed to release a wireless charger back in 2019 when their phones and Apple Watches have that built-in sort of wireless charging capability, but they never actually released a proprietary model. They sell third-party chargers in their stores, but now it's leaked that there may be a wireless charger finally released. And what's interesting to me about it is I read that there may be in the new phones a magnetic ring built within the iPhone chassis to hold the device on the mat. So that's kind of cool. I haven't seen that yet. I mean, there's definitely magnetic phone cases that hold your phone to certain things like car mounts and things like that. But I've never seen a wireless charging mat that secures your phone with magnets. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Do you see any kind of practical use case with that?
Well, I have one thing to say about that. Like, if you take a high-powered magnet, right, and you put it up next to your motherboard, you're going to scramble your motherboard. You're going to basically destroy your computer.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to know how strong these magnets are and how close they are to the processor, to all the organs of your phone, basically, all the goods, all the hardware. Like, that's the only thing that's scary for me. But from a practical standpoint, I think it's awesome because, if they're going to have those little wireless charging stands, then like, think about like in your car, like, in your car, you usually have like those little clips or like, whatever you use, like you'll just be able to like slap it right on there on the magnet. And even my phone here, I'll show you real quick. I have, I don't know if you could see it. Do you see this like little
I see it
thing? That's a magnet right there. And so when I get in my car, I just like slap it right on the dashboard. So like that, in my opinion, quality of life is like, the fact that I don't have to like fiddle with that little thing. I love it.
Yeah.
So there you go right there. There's one thing that I think would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, up until like 2 or 3 years ago, all MacBooks came with a MagSafe charging adapter. So instead of plugging something into your computer, the charging thing actually just magnetically attached to the side of your computer. And so that way, if somebody's walking past your computer that's plugged in on a table, they trip over the cord, it just magnetically disconnects, and no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
So I can see the use case here. If somebody, I'm bad about knocking stuff over on my desk. I've spilled multiple drinks just like using hand gestures and like slapping a can of something, or like slapping a kid in the head.
Slapping the can.
So if you're one of those
slapping
people,
the kid, is that what you said?
Yeah, I did. Oh, sorry, buddy, I didn't see you there. If you're that kind of person that slides your phone off the table on accident, then maybe that's kind of useful for you. So definitely interesting. I'll be excited to see if they actually do announce something like that. But that's enough about Apple, man. I'm excited to hear what you've got to say about VR dogs.
All right, guys, VR dogs. Let's jump right into it. The U.S. Army is experimenting with AR goggles for military dogs. Wow, kind of interesting. I didn't know that dogs were in the military. So I know of like drug sniffing dogs and stuff like that, but dogs in the military. So, AR commands will allow handlers to remain out of sight during combat. That's the biggest thing here. So let me get into this a little bit. Canines are in all branches of the military. They're used for everything from attacks to explosive detection to patrol, search and rescue, and even tracking. Like, dogs are really not only man's best friend, but it's like the third arm of man, where they have all of these special hearing and smelling abilities that we don't have, and they're our best friends, so they'll do anything for us. It's really cool. So, the kind of way it usually works, just like with your own pets, if you have them, your own dog, human handlers will provide a command, usually being like a hand gesture or a light device such as a laser pointer, to basically tell the dog what it needs to do, or just give it that command, and the dog will understands it's been trained and it'll take care of it. So the bad thing about that is that in the current use of it, it could basically expose the operator to danger while out in the field. If they're using a light device or they're out there using hand gestures, they got to be close enough for the dog to see them. So they can be exposed, sniper, whatever it is. So Command Sight is the company. It's a Seattle-based company specializing in human-to-animal communication. They're trying to get rid of that risk, that danger to those operators out in the field. They're trying to bring AR technology to level up those operations and reduce handler risk. So very interesting, man. We got all kinds of stuff coming with VR, AR, and whatnot. But, so how is this going to work? Well, basically, they're going to take a 3D scan of the dog's head to create a personalized AR headset that perfectly fits the canine and is able to place those optics on the canine so that the dog's not able to fiddle around with them, and they're going to be able to see. It's going to be like, hopefully, like just seeing like through their own eyes almost. So, so this headset will provide the animals with visual cues. So instead of having it be like little lights from the operator or hand signals, there'll be visual cues that the animal will be trained on, so they'll get that inside the AR goggles. It'll also allow the operator to see exactly what the K9 unit is seeing. It'll allow them to also issue commands from a secure position, which is the main benefit here. So really interesting stuff. So before I ask you your opinion on this, I just want to say that this is managed by the Army the Army Research Office. It's funded by the Small Business Innovation Research Group, and Command Sight just completed the proof of concept with the SBIR, Small Business Innovation Research, and they've already been confirmed for their phase 2, which is research and development, and they're getting funding from the Department of Defense Rapid Reaction Technology Office. And then this support that they're getting is going to go towards the development of prototype AR headsets for military dogs serving in the Navy Special Forces. Stumbling over my words, but I got through it. Just wanted to throw that out there in case anybody was interested. But now I want to get your take on this. What do you think about this, man? Pretty cool, right?
I mean, it's amazing. My first thought is my two dogs, as much as I love them and as intelligent as they are, if I put something on their head like that, they'd be like, "What in the hell are you thinking? Get this thing off my face, man.
Off my
face.
Like,
let me get back under this blanket and go back to sleep."
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty incredible. I think about this stuff often just because my tiny pea brain is very mesmerized and amazed by the smallest things. But even when I see dogs like in movies or whatever, I'm like, how in the hell did they train that dog to drink out of that soda can or like whatever stupid task it is? Like, so I think it's amazing that they've got trainers, number one, who can even fathom training them to say like, hey, we're going to put these goggles on your head, dog, and you're not going to take it off with your paws, and you're going to act like a normal dog. And then when you see a red dot in the top right of your eyeball, you're going to go and attack that bad guy. Or, when you see a green dot, you're going to go sniff the area out. Like, that just blows my mind.
Right.
That animals, number one, there's so much like, as humans, I feel like sometimes we, besides our big juicy brains, are like the least evolved creatures on the planet. Like,
physically, yeah.
Yeah, we suck as like, as actual physical beings.
Right. In the physical domain, we're like pretty bad.
Yeah, it's a good thing we got brains and we can build tools.
It's a good thing we got these giant craniums.
The second a dog figures out how to build a wheel and make fire, we're all screwed.
We're screwed, dude. Yeah.
But I think this is awesome. I mean, on one hand, I'm a dog lover. So like just visualizing a dog running into a scary situation and getting like attacked by some bad guys kind of is a shitty feeling. But also, I mean, humans' lives are more valuable than animal lives at the end of the day. So if this is keeping people safe, I'm all about it. And every week, man, you bring us these AR, VR technologies that it's just so cool to see this stuff being put into use. And I can just, in a couple years, this all will trickle down to consumers. A lot of stuff starts with military applications and eventually makes its way down to civilian application. Yep. I don't think we're going to be putting AR goggles on our dogs, but this technology could definitely trickle down.
You want to get that squirrel boy? Put these goggles on.
Yeah, if you see a green light, go get me a beer.
I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking more like entertainment for dogs. He'll be splashing around in a pond in the glasses, but he's laying on your couch.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, good stuff. You put your dog on a treadmill and he can he's visualizing he's in a forest chasing a squirrel or something
right? That'd be wild. He'd be running into the wall.
It just made me think of a video. This is like one of the first viral videos I remember. It's a dog completely dead asleep and do you remember this? Dead asleep, running in his sleep, and he awakens to continue running and just plows into the wall.
The wall, yep. Bounces off the wall. Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was the best. So long ago.
Yep. That's good. Well, that's it for the Talkin Tech section of the podcast. You ready to head on and get our gaming grind going?
I am indeed.
All right, guys, be right back. And we're back, guys. We're gonna get our gaming grind on. Go ahead and start us off, man.
Yes, absolutely. Nothing epitomizes gaming more so than GameStop, if you ask some people. And we got some news about GameStop. So I, number one, just think it's cool to see GameStop in the news at all. I personally really enjoy GameStop, but Microsoft and GameStop have now partnered up with a multi-year deal in which GameStop employees will be using Microsoft devices and software to enhance the shopping experience. So some people are likening it to the experience of shopping in an Apple store. If you've ever been in there, you know that you get checked in with somebody holding an iPad. They check you out with an iPhone that scans the devices and prints out a receipt under the table, and it's just very clean, very organized, very thought out. So not really sure if that will actually come to fruition, but we do know that employees will be walking around holding Microsoft Surface tablets and servicing you from other places in the store than just behind the counter. Typically, GameStop employees stay behind the counter for most of your experience unless you ask for help finding a game or something like that. But in addition to that, they'll be using Microsoft Dynamics 365, which is Microsoft's CRM tool, similar to Salesforce and things like that, as well as Microsoft Teams to essentially increase their productivity as an organization. So I don't know what they're using today. Probably some terrible, outdated system.
Windows 98.
Yeah, they're managing all their customer records in one Excel sheet labeled customers 2020.xlsx.
It's not even Excel, it's Notepad. Like,
yeah. Instead of like taking down your information, they draw a picture of your face in Microsoft Paint. He looked like this. I don't know. I've never had a bad experience, honestly, in GameStop. I'm always very pleased with my interactions in GameStop. But we do know that, GameStop, it's a physical brick and mortar store, just like Best Buy. I used to work at Best Buy. It's become more of probably a showroom than anything. People go in there to look and see what games are out, even play some of the demos potentially that are set up in GameStop. But there's nothing more convenient than sitting on your couch and ordering stuff off of Amazon. So their relevance has kind of gone down the drain, and that we see that. I did some research before the show here and actually found that their stocks, GameStop stocks, have basically been sinking since 2015. Just steady decline in their stock price. There has been an uptick since COVID happened, which is very interesting. I'm not sure if that's from their online business. I would assume so. But I did read some articles saying that foot traffic in the stores has actually increased since COVID, and that may just be because they were open or something when other stores weren't open, or but most likely because people just couldn't find, just like you couldn't buy toilet paper, you couldn't buy chicken, you couldn't buy hand sanitizer, like everything's out of stock, video games included. So if you're somebody who wants to buy a disc for your Xbox, your PlayStation, whatever it is, you can't order it online. You probably go and visit a GameStop, see if they've got one. There was that uptick. But my question is, like, if they revitalize this experience, if it does become more Apple Store-like and they elevate your experience in there, does that make GameStop more relevant? Like, does that increase your interest in actually going into a physical store and buying a game? Like, for you personally, like, how do you feel about that?
No, I haven't bought a physical game in years, man. I get all my stuff online. It's all, on Steam or through Epic Games or whatever it is. So, I can understand why it would uptick now, though, is, with the pandemic, people aren't going out and like doing extracurricular activities and like going and doing things with other people. Like, they're just at home, like, and what's there to do at home? You got to watch movies, watch TV shows, eat food, drink beer, and play video games. That's it.
Yeah.
Take care of your kids and your dog, and sleep. That's it. So I mean, it's just like makes sense to me, but I don't see GameStop being around in the long run, because I don't think there's going to be like the need for you to go buy physical things anymore. You can just download endless amounts of packets off of the internet. Like, it's all, you don't have to do physical downloads. It doesn't have to be on a disc anymore. Like, kind of going to miss that nostalgia to it, but like, yeah, I think that they need to, it's a good thing that they're partnering with Microsoft, and they need to start thinking about what's the future for them. They need to transition away from physical hardware and get into the software space. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I used to be able to justify this to say that, people who have console and prefer to play on console and don't want to take up their disk space by downloading games online. But that's not even the case anymore. If you buy a disc, you still have to install the game on the machine. And that still takes up the majority of your space. So you're better off, in my opinion, just buying it digitally. Now, the only benefit to buying a physical copy is that you can return, you can trade in, you can sell a physical copy of a game. That becomes completely void when you download a digital copy of a game. You may be able to return it. I'm not sure how that works, but you can't sell on Facebook Marketplace a digital download of a game. You can't trade it in. So that's why I enjoyed GameStop, is because I get tired of playing games. I can go trade them in and get a little bit of credit here and there. So that's cool. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't think that this is really enough to kind of influence my decision whether or not I'll go in there. I don't really know what that would take, honestly, to do that. But again, I mean, back to the console thing, we see Xbox and PlayStation, their new consoles, their next-gen consoles, PS5 and Xbox Series X, both have a version that does not even have a disc drive. So the industry is moving away from physical media. It's going completely digital. So I don't really know where, if they're going to have to keep adding, Funko Pop figurines in their store, gaming accessories. That's really their only shot, in my opinion.
They might as well be a comic book shop, at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Unless there's like some weird resurgence of like hipsters buying classic game discs instead of digital downloads, just like they still want to buy records instead of MP3s.
Vinyl game discs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the new fad.
Yeah. So again, speaking now of Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, GameStop actually did announce some payment plans that are coming out. I'm going to breeze through these really quick. It's 3 different payment plan options if you want to get your hands on a console but don't have the financial wherewithal to buy it outright. You've got 3 options with GameStop. You can do layaway, which essentially, if you've never done layaway before, that was like a really popular thing back in the day. You can pay very small amounts, just month after month until it's paid off completely, and then you can take the console home with you. So essentially, you're just kind of prepaying for it as you have the money to do so. There's installment plans, so they're working with third-party companies, including QuadPay and Klarna. It's a weird name. Essentially allows you to pay off your purchase in 4 installments over 6 weeks with no additional fees. Don't really understand this one unless you're like a server at a restaurant. Like, I'm not sure if you don't have the money for something, 6 weeks, you're really not going to like acquire that money unless you're a server at a restaurant, a drug dealer, or stripper. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I guess if you're one of those 3 people, this is your option. And then there's finally rent to own, which I think makes the most sense for most people. This actually came out in an internal memo. GameStop said that they're working with a reputable third-party partner to offer rent-to-own options for many items, allowing customers to take the product home with them with minimum upfront money and pay it off within 1 to 12 months. So you can think of this as typical sort of credit card, Best Buy credit card application. I would assume you probably have to apply for this loan sort of situation. But you also retain the option to return the product at any point. So those are your 3 options. Support GameStop. I don't know. I don't support GameStop, so I'm telling you to do it. I don't actually do it. I buy my games on Steam and Epic Games and wherever else. But, I like GameStop. I don't want to see them go away.
Yeah, I don't really either, but I just think that it's going to happen in the next 5 years if they don't change their strategy. It's going to happen.
Yeah, they got to target a different niche or something. I don't know. Maybe they add like players' lounges or something. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Not to go on a tangent here, but when I went to New York City, the Microsoft store, holy but Jesus, man. The Microsoft store was like the coolest place in New York City. Number one, it was like 6 stories tall, so it was like 6 or 7 different floors. But one of the floors was nothing but tables full of gaming PCs, like spec to the max, like VR setups and everything. You could pay a monthly subscription and go to the Microsoft store in Times Square and play whatever games you wanted to.
What?
So I don't know if GameStop like gets into that business because
sure.
Those experiences are hard to come by, so that'd be cool if GameStop got into like players' lounges or something, and you can come hop on a PC and play some games. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah, dude, I could see that. They definitely should do something like that for sure. I could see it. Do you remember back in the day when we were kids and like you could go into a GameStop and you could actually like play the games at the GameStop?
I actually don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I didn't have a GameStop anywhere near me when I was a kid.
Dude, they used to have like 3 or 4 different like game, like there'd be like a PlayStation, an Xbox, a Nintendo, maybe a Sega back in the day. Like you could just go in there, and I would go in there and like for like 2 hours just while my mom's like walking around the mall shopping, I'd be just like in there playing video games.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they should bring that back. I mean, come on now.
I think they do still have some consoles set up, but I feel like it's usually like a specific demo, like the new Forza's coming out. Play the new Forza here. I don't know that you
Yeah.
can say like, hey, I want to play this game. Like, I don't know if that's what happens.
That's how it usually was, though. There was like one game in there for each of the
Okay.
systems,
So
and you
maybe
would
they
just
still
play
do that.
That'd be man. That would be awesome. But yeah. So speaking of video games, Steam is what I use all the time, and if you guys have Steam, if you have a PC computer, if you have a PC computer and you don't have Steam, download Steam because right now there's free demos, tons and tons and tons of free demos during Steam's Autumn Festival, which is all about indie games. It's from October 7th through October 13th at 10 a.m. Pacific Daytime. So you have a couple more days to check that out. Man, there's got to be like 50 to 100 different games on there that you can download for free and try out to demo. So I picked 3 of them that I want to share with you guys real quick. And they looked good to me. There's something that I think I want to check out. And you should probably check them out too. The first one is The Survivalists. Sorry, it's a top-down online co-op crafting and survival sandbox adventure. I really like crafting. I like survival sandbox adventure. So this one's right up my alley. I like the top-down kind of style to it. It's very artistic the way that they did. It's funny. It's fun and easy. It's very stylist. So the graphics are easy on the eyes. Kind of anybody from any generation could go in and play this game. It's so you're exploring, you're building, you're crafting, and you're even training monkeys with up to 3 friends. Pretty cool.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So moving on, I got another one, Red Solstice 2. So this one's an isometric, so still kind of top down, but not quite. It's a real-time tactics game, strategy game set in the sci-fi universe. Sequel to the bestseller Red Solstice. Plan your strategy and infiltrate a real-time tactical battlefield alone or with up to 7 squad members. So it's kind of like XCOM, if you guys haven't seen that before, where it's it's all kind of real time, but you're like in real time, like making sure that like each one of your characters is like doing something. So yeah, like usual RPGs, like you're stopping and like clicking and picking what they're doing, but this one's like everybody's moving around, but you're like telling them what to do while they're moving around. So I found that one pretty interesting. The one that I'm the most excited about and thought looked really cool it's called Nuts. A single-player surveillance mystery set in a remote forest. Record the squirrels, report your findings, and uncover the secret of the curious creatures. Recover the secret that the curious creatures are hiding. So this game's a lot like Firewatch, that kind of style where it's like mystery and you're kind of adventuring around, a lot of good scenery and stuff like that. If you haven't played Firewatch, go play Firewatch, 'cause that game's awesome. It's like a 10-hour story, but pretty cool, immersive the whole way. So this one's got really cool artistic style again, and interesting choice of colors. It's pastels. So like none of the colors look normal. It's a lot of blue, yellow, pink, and purple pastels. So it's got a very interesting art style to it that really pulled me in when I first saw it. And then just like the gameplay of, you kind of like going around, solving problems or finding answers and stuff like that is, it really pulled me in. So yeah, another game that I think you guys should check out.
That's awesome, man. I'm definitely gonna have to check out Steam. I love me some free games. I love me some free to play stuff. So that's cool, man. Yeah. And hopefully it just brings some light to some of the indie games that are out there. I think that's what a lot of these, platforms, Steam, Epic, free stuff they give away usually is indies. So hopefully it brings some light to some of those developers, because you really can find some great games that aren't all $60 from a major developer.
Right. Yep. I wonder how much it actually benefits these indie game developers. Like if they're giving away their games, is the hope that they give it to somebody and they tell their friends and then their friends buy it, and it's just trying to get their name out there? Because, they're giving up a lot of money just giving it away like that.
Yeah, or maybe just to bring some, brand recognition to the name of the developer. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. But to your point, I mean, I probably couldn't name most of the developers for some of the smaller indie games that I play. I can name the bigger ones usually, but yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I guess people at the end of the day, you spend so much time making that game, you probably want people to play it, but yeah, obviously you want to support those folks too.
By the time you know their name as an indie developer, it's like they're probably good enough not to be considered indie anymore, you know?
True. Good point.
So, well, that was it, man. That's the gaming grind. It was a grind. We got through it.
We did get through it. I think that basically rounds out our show this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something today that you didn't know already before listening to this episode. If you did, please let us know about it in the comments. And just a quick reminder before we sign off here, like and subscribe on YouTube and also in your favorite podcast player, be it Spotify, be it Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, you name it. We're out there. So if you're listening to us in your car or at your office, make sure you like the episode, subscribe to us, leave us a review if it's possible on your platform. Check out our full review of the Monarch IPA on the website, thegingerandthebeard.com, and make sure you check us out on Twitter and Instagram where we're very active. Reach out to us, engage. We want to get to know you guys. We want to get to know our audience and keep creating this content for you. So please do share this episode with a friend.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. Until next time, make sure to give us some shout outs, tell a friend, and, we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.